Have you ever really considered what aspects of a culture make them all different and unique? For example, think about the traditions your family has, and then consider what kind of culture you grew up in. So, for me and my American family, the traditions that come to mind are holiday meals, Christmas cookie baking, and going to church together. But what about other cultures? Traditions are different for every single culture, and that's what makes them all unique. Today, I'm ready to dive in and discuss this aspect of Spanish culture. So, I've taken 6 years of Spanish language classes, including 1 year in a native speakers class, which means the peers I was surrounded by spoke Spanish as their first language. I'm also certified biliterate in Spanish, and I live with someone who spent 2 years in Spain. So I love the Spanish culture, and I'm so excited to share 3 of my favorite traditions that I've learned about from the Spanish culture. Siestas, La Tomatina, and Carnival are all examples of Spanish traditions that make their culture unique. So first we'll look at siestas and a day in the life of someone from Spain. Then we'll go on to learn about 2 different festivals that take place in Spain. We'll start with La Tomatina and we'll wrap up with Carnival. So let's get started. The first tradition I am excited to share is called a siesta. Siesta is Spanish for nap or time of rest, but this word means so much more to Spanish-speaking people. In the Spanish culture, lunch is eaten later in the afternoon, and it's also their biggest meal of the day. So around 2 to 5 p.m., school and work let out, and everyone goes home to eat lunch. This is really important family time as well. So they eat a big meal, and then after that, they have time for rest. So some places of work may reconvene after siesta, but school's let out and dinner isn't eaten until 9 or 10 p.m. And it's also a lighter meal. Like I said, lunch is their biggest meal of the day. According to sleep.org, the siesta began as a way for workers to get a break from the hot sun in the afternoon. So they would get a chance to eat, rest, and come back to work all re-energized. Additionally, after the 1930s Spanish War, it was common for people to work 2 or more jobs. So the siesta provided them time to eat, rest, and travel in between their jobs. When I spoke with my cousin Hannah, who I live with, about her time in Spain, she said that the siesta was one of her favorite cultural differences. She liked the significance that it was strictly family time, and also that they got a chance to rest, and she said it made you feel so much more re-energized for the rest of your day. I can only imagine, everyone wants nap time, right? So I can only imagine how much rest that helps you and makes you feel re-energized for the rest of your day. So while siesta is a unique traditional time for rest and relaxation, this next tradition is anything but peaceful. Let's talk about one of the messiest traditions of Spain, La Tomatina. So in an article I found from the library's website called Flying Tomatoes, the author described the festival as the world's largest food fight. Happening on the last Wednesday in August, over 45,000 people gather in Bunal, Spain for this festival. Participants have an hour to hurl tomatoes at each other, and after it's done, it ends up being about 120 tons of tomatoes and tomato juice. Shops and restaurants cover their buildings in plastic wrap for protection. As you can see it from these pictures, this event gets very, very messy. I bet you're wondering how this event came to be. I know I definitely was. So after researching this event, I found an article from Britannica explaining the festival's origins. So it turns out in 1945, there was a music festival in Bunal, and a group of people got onto the stage and started dancing with one of the bands. One of the musicians fell off the stage into a crate of fruits and vegetables, and then the people in the audience began to pick up the fruits and vegetables and throw them at each other. So while that was quickly shut down, the next year, people brought tomatoes and fruits and vegetables to throw at each other, and it quickly became an annual thing. It was banned in the early 1950s, but was soon brought back as an official festival because of protests. So this is one of the items on my bucket list for sure. Clearly, Spain knows how to throw a festival. One of their more well-known festivals is just as crazy. While you may associate Carnival with Brazil, it's also a very popular festival in Spain as well. It's celebrated throughout the country in different ways, but one thing stays the same throughout. It's dedicated to having a good time. So there's drinking and dancing throughout the day, and people wear extravagant costumes and masks, and Carnival begins with a pregón, or an opening speech, which is usually given by a celebrity or politician or someone of significance. Then the week of parades, colors, food, drinks, dancing, and just general partying begin. So these pictures show some of the crazy costumes and then how colorful the parades and there's balloons, and it just shows how crazy the event gets. The festival takes place the week before Lent. So Lent is the period of time that takes place before the Christian holiday of Easter. According to the website donquijote.org, Carnival takes place the week before Lent starts because during Lent, Christians, mainly Catholics, give up something for 40 days before Easter in remembrance of the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. So the week before they begin their solemn remembrance, they, of course, party, drink, and eat whatever they want. When I asked my cousin Hannah about this event and what she remembers from her time in Spain, she immediately said it was one of the most beautiful and fun times every single year. She described it as a colorful party that lasts the whole week, and everyone is just super joyful and happy. It definitely sounds like a fun tradition in the Spanish culture. Traditions are so important and different in each culture. While some of my family traditions include meals, church, and holidays, it's so interesting and important to understand other cultures and their unique traditions. In the Spanish culture, siestas are a time when families get to sit down together for a meal and take a break afterwards. La Tomatina is a crazy messy festival where people get to let loose and throw tomatoes at each other. And Carnival is a joyful celebration filled with costumes, dancing, food and drink, and lots of fun held the week before Lent. I can't imagine my life without the traditions I've grown up experiencing. So again, I will ask, what are those traditions for you? How can you see your culture come through in meaningful ways? I hope learning about the Spanish culture traditions reminded you of the importance of different cultures and also the traditions that are created within those cultures. Thank you.